Stop outsourcing your SMMA service delivery. Wow, such a controversial topic, right? But in today's video, I'm going to talk about why you should never outsource your SMMA service delivery unless you have probably like 10 factors that you've considered. So let's get straight into it. First of all, here is my experience. So, I've only been in the agency space for around 2 years. So, my credentials is probably not as good as someone with 10 years, but for those of you who are under like 2 years in the space, highly suggest you listen to me. So people talk about like white labeling the service. Oh, I can drop service and just hire guys to do the fulfillment. So I'm just the middleman. Like, no. So white labeling your service delivery as a new business is the easy way out and will not last as a long-term stable income for you. So this is my experience. I've had a lot of talks, people in my school group, just friends who've tried SMMA and failed and went back to their 9-to-5 jobs. They all went through this mistake. I even know a guy who lost 40 grand. 40K. Well, he's a guy I saw on TikTok who lost 40K because he just tried to drop service his whole thing. He had a bunch of savings from doing like FIFO or construction in Australia where he made a lot of money, had a bunch of savings, and then he just tried to drop service his whole SMMA. He was losing like 5K a month on this, and then in 8 months, he pretty much lost everything. So let me explain why. As the founder, it is your job to learn the service you offer, make SOPs, which are standard operating procedures, around it, and then train employees to do it. So, as the founder, how are you not the expert? Let's say you do Facebook ads. How are you not the expert of doing Facebook ads? If a client comes and talks to you, it's not you doing it. It's like some guy you outsourced from overseas, right? It's just not a good way to do business. I mean, while I'm saying this, I know it's worked for a bunch of people, mostly in the short term, some in the long term too. But for most beginners, you're just gonna get burnt, and it's so much better to think this long-term way of actually doing it yourself, right? So if you white label the service straight away, you have no control whatsoever. So you're not the one doing the service delivery. You have no clue what it is. As I said, if clients ask you, you can't answer them because you don't know what it is. You have to get your overseas guy, media buyer for Facebook ads, to talk to them. And that's just not ideal. You as the founder, you're the heart and soul of the company. Clients want to talk to you, right? So ask yourself, make this bold. Ask yourself the question: what happens if the white labelers leave? Or whatever happens, like let's say you got them a Fiverr or Upwork, they're not really employed in your company, they're just a freelancer. Like, if these guys stop doing work for you, what happens to your clients? You can't come in and control it. There's no SOPs to follow because you've literally just dropped service or just hired some other guy to do it without you having any context of what to do at all, right? So basically, you are screwed and your clients will churn. That's exactly what's going to happen, right? You don't know anything about the service delivery, your clients will leave you. That's pretty natural to happen, right? So on top of this, if you hire overseas, you will most likely not get good results for your clients and they will churn anyway. So what do I mean by this? Basically, when you hire overseas, most of the time, like let's say Fiverr or Upwork, these guys are freelancing for hundreds of other companies. They're not going to put as much work into, I guess, your clients because they have hundreds of other clients, right? Why would they? It's in their best interest to just get as many of these freelance clients, do a half-assed job, and not get as good results. So Your guarantee will be not as good. Your offer will not be as good because you're hiring overseas, and the actual service delivery part you can't fulfill, right? And you have no control over it, right? So I always preach doing the dirty work in the trenches first. Then once you find something that works, delegate to employees. As I said, I have friends who have literally, quit the SMMA or hired a media buyer who wasn't doing any work, like literally firsthand. I'm lucky that the first mentor I invested in, like, said not to do this, and I'm just coding all of his stuff here. But yeah, like, just based on experience, I know it works. 1 in 1,000 people, they'll find a way and make a ton of money with. But for beginners, highly recommend not to do this unless you want to take a huge risk. But know what you're getting yourself into, right? Okay, so pros of white labeling. Wow, I hate this. There we go. So pros for white labeling. Good in the short term. No work to be done on your end. So that's pretty much it in terms of the pros for white labeling. Good in the short term because you're starting out. You don't have to get in the trenches. It's easy. It's easy work that anyone can do, right? Just hire a guy on Fiverr. You have no clue what the service delivery is. And why would you get to know it? Because someone else can do it for you, right? And no work to be done on your end. So you're not, in the trenches trying to figure out which Facebook ads work. If you're doing email marketing, trying to write copy, like, you don't have to learn any of those skills. All you did was just connect two people together, and you're just the middleman. That's your agency, right? So that is the pros for white labeling as a beginner. In terms of the pros of doing service delivery yourself, you learn the skill of doing the service, which is the base of your business. It's a service, right? Like, service delivery first, and then marketing, and then sales. That's what your business is, the service, the offer, right? So whatever it is, you learn the skill of doing it because you're actually doing it. You're not delegating it too early. What else? You learn what hard work actually is. Like, you're in the trenches. If something messes up, you're not going to be like, I'm too bad at this. Let me get shiny object syndrome and do the next business model. No, you're going to stick to it and be like, okay, what went wrong here? Let me watch more YouTube videos. Let me buy courses. Let me listen to my mentor and actually learn how to work hard and actually solve a problem, right? Which is business. Next is you can create SOPs to delegate the service delivery once you're ready. Again, delegating and creating SOPs, that's a skill in itself that you wouldn't learn otherwise if you just hired cheap talent as a beginner in your SMMA, right? Next is you always know that your service delivery will be okay because you as the founder came up with it. So let's say your employee has a sick day, let's say, and he can't do the service delivery. Boom, you just do it because you've done it yourself, right? You're the guy who made the SOPs. You're the expert. You're the guy who knows it better than all of your employees most of the time. And you're trading your time for money in terms of the employees. So they'll most likely do a worse job than you, but you're trading time for money, so it's kind of worth it. So you're always fine. You can always hire a next guy and train them up because you have the SOPs and you came up with it, right? Next is you'll actually learn to communicate with clients properly. Most of the time, you're just gonna, if you do like white label early and you have no clue about the service delivery, what you're gonna do is get whoever's freelancing to help you communicate with your client, which is a no-no, right? You want you as the founder to communicate with them properly so they're completely in the loop and they put their faith in you, right? If they knew that you were outsourcing your service delivery overseas, then they would do that themselves. Why would they pay you as an agency with all these increased margins, right? So, lastly is you will learn to run a proper business. Now, these people who white label only from the very beginning as a complete beginner with no skills, I don't even like consider that as a business, because you're just a middleman. You're just a middleman. You're like a freelancer. You're like a, you know, it's not a real business. You're not training people. You're not an actual CEO. You're not building something. You're just connecting people. That's what it is. Now, obviously, some people have like some of the business, like they do the SOPs, they learn from people they outsource from. But yeah, that's just my opinion. Don't cancel me. Yeah, so in terms of final thoughts, this is just my opinion based on what I've heard and my experiences, right? You should do what works for you. So, you know, maybe 1 in 1,000 from what I've seen, where they can actually outsource the service delivery from the start and don't have to touch it once. They could probably do that. But yeah, do what works for you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you my experience. So yeah, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I got the video idea from someone who messaged me in my school group. So yeah, feel free to join that link in the description. That's it for the video. Peace.